Hello. In this session, we are going to look at the difference between your elastic block store and your instance store volumes. Now, both are your storage options which are available for your EC2 instances, and both provides you with block level storage which can be used to attach to your EC2 instances, and then we can start storing the data on them. However, there are some important differences between them that we will need to understand, and when we should be using elastic block store or the instance store volumes with our EC2 instances. And this is a very important topic from an interview perspective. Generally you can expect this as an interview question, a very common interview question. Now, in the last session, we discussed about the different volume types that we have for your EBS volumes. So we have your general purpose, your provisioned IOPS, your throughput optimized, and then we have the full HDD. Now, in this session, we will understand the differences that we have between your elastic block store and instance store volumes. Once again, before we start off with the session, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. So, like I said, both are your block level storage. So your instance store volumes is also a block level storage, and your elastic block store is also your block level storage. The volumes, these are defined by your AMIs. Depending on the AMI that you're selecting, that will define whether you're going to use the instance store volumes or you're going to use the elastic block store. So here, for example, if I go to this launch instances, now whatever the AMIs that you will see over here, all right, so this is loading, but whatever the AMIs that you see here, these are by default supporting your EBS volume. So here, if I scroll down, you will see that if you're able to see these options, this is nothing but this is your EBS volume. So let me click on this advanced, and here you can see this is your EBS volume. So by default, most of the AMIs supports your EBS volumes. However, if you're looking for the instance store volumes, you will have to search for the AMIs that supports the instance store volumes. For that, you can go to the AMIs over here, and then you can filter this depending on what you're looking for. So we are looking for the public images, so we don't have any owned by me or private images, so we'll go to the public images, and here you can filter this based on the root device type. So root device type is equal to the instance store volumes. So we have 172 AMIs that supports your instance store volumes. So let's take this as an example, and here we'll click on this launch instance from AMI. Now you will see the difference here. So this is for the instance store AMI that I have selected, and if I scroll down here, you can see I click on advanced, and yeah, so you can see here EBS volumes, it is not showing anything, but here is my instance store volume. So if I click on show details, this is what you see. So there's around so much of storage allocated, I don't know why, but this is what we have associated with this AMI. And if I click on this, you should be able to see additional details. All right, so this is your instance store volume. So both are your block level storage. Your instance store volumes is used for temporary storage. Your elastic block store is used for persistent data. All right, so persistent storage. So whenever you want to make your data persistence, you can go with your elastic block store, and your instance store volume is used for temporary storage only. All right, so here if you can see, this is ephemeral storage. So that means your data is available only for temporary duration. The data will not be available for it is not persistent basically, whereas your EBS volume, your data is persistent. All right, now what that means is, with your instance store volumes, the data is available as long as the instance is running. The status of your instance is running. If you stop the instance, or if you terminate the instance, or if there is any hardware failure, the data will be lost. Whereas with your EBS volumes, your data is persistent. Even if you stop the instance, or even if you terminate the instance, the data can still be made available, and that is how it is persistent. So it preserves the data. It does not depend on the instance status. It will help us to preserve the data. So that's why this is known as your ephemeral storage, and this is your persistent storage. Here the data is available on the status of the instance only if it is running. Any other instance status, the data will be lost. But under your EBS, that does not matter. Whether your instance is running or not, your data would still be available for us. Then, under your instance store volumes, we cannot create any backups or the snapshots of the data. But with your EBS volumes, we can create a backup of the data using snapshot. So if you want to backup your data with your EBS, it is possible. You can create a snapshot. But with your instance store volumes, it is not possible. So you can see this snapshot, it says not applicable. That means we cannot create any backup of the data. Then instance store volumes does not support your encryption. So at any point, if you want to encrypt your data, if you want to protect your data, you have the encryption option. However, the instance store volumes does not support the encryption, but your EBS volume supports your encryption. So here, if you can see this encryption, it says not applicable. This is for the instance store volumes, and for your EBS volumes, you have the option of choosing whether you want to encrypt your data or not. All right. And the last difference that we have is your instance store volume, which supports only HDD storage, and your EBS, you have different types under this. So you have the SSD storage, the HDD, which is basically your general purpose provisioned IOPS, throughput optimized cold HDD. But your instance store volume, it supports only HDD storage. You do not have any other volume type under this. But with your EBS, you have different types that are available under this. So these are some of the very important difference that we have under your instance store volumes and your EBS volumes. And the most important difference here is this particular point. All right, so your instance to volumes, the data is available as long as the instance is running. If you stop the instance or if you terminate the instance, the data is lost. But with your EBS volumes, the data is persistent. Whether your instance is running or not, the data would still be available for us. So that's basically the differences that we have between your instance to volumes and EBS volumes. That's all for this session. Thank you. Once again, before you leave, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you like the video, leave a like and please share the video.